You might not believe this, but one of the most astonishing coins in American numismatics could already be hiding in your loose change, tucked away in an old box or stuck in a dusty coin album. What if I told you there is a 1968 Lincoln penny, 1 cent, that, under the right circumstances, might be worth far more than its face value? What if your next treasure find comes not from a gold bar, but a humble copper penny you've overlooked for decades? The coin I'm talking about is the 1968 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, but is shrouded in mystery, quirks, and the tantalizing possibility of life-changing value. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll understand why some collectors whisper that only a handful exist, and why those who find one might never look at spare change the same way again. It begins with the year itself, 1968. The U.S. Mint was in flux. The period 1965 to 1967 saw mint marks removed from coins to discourage hoarding. A response to the silver coin shortage and collector behavior. Wikipedia +1 in 1968. Mint marks returned, but with a catch. Many Philadelphia coins in 1968, which nominally should bear no mint mark, were struck under difficult conditions, using worn dies and worn master hubs, resulting in soft detail and weak strikes across the board. Gainesville coins +2, Bullion Shark +2. So the baseline 1968 no mint mark cent might seem unremarkable. But here's where things get intriguing. Because minting was troubled that year, subtle varieties, die anomalies, and rare errors emerged, and among them is the no mint mark variety that collectors now hunt passionately. You're rummaging through an old cigar box in your attic. You lift out a handful of well-worn coins, sift through them, and see one penny that looks odd. The date is faint but readable, 1968, and beneath it, there is no D or S. You think, well, that's normal. 1968 had no mint mark at Philadelphia, but something about the strike looks unusual. The lettering might be heavier, or the Liberty might sit oddly near the rim. Could this be one of those rare anomalies? Could this coin be more than just copper? That's the invitation, and that's the tension I want you to feel as a viewer. Could the coin you discovered in a box be worth thousands or more? Let's dig deeper. In 1968, about 1.7 billion pennies were struck in Philadelphia with no mint mark. Gainesville coins +3 Bullion Shark +3 coin-identifier.com +3. That's an overwhelming number. For most collectors, even uncirculated specimens are modest in value. According to standard guides, typical uncirculated 1968 no-mint pennies in high grade might fetch $10, $30 or more. Depending on condition. Coin-identifier.com +3, Bullion Shark +3, Coin Value Checker +3, but again, that's average. We're hunting far beyond average. Because minting conditions that year were so poor, most coins show weak or mushy details. Hairlines in Lincoln's hair, edges of letters. Fine features, many were lost or blended. Gainesville coins +1. This makes recognizing exceptional specimens extremely difficult. And it also means that many borderline error coins slip under the radar. But for those who know what to look for, die doubling. L. On-rim anomalies, repunched letters, or near-impossible die flaws, there's a chance at outsized rewards. There's evidence that some of these no-mint anomalies are commanding real money. For example, there is at least one listing of a 1968 no-mint mark penny, L, and letters on rim and more being offered on eBay in recent years in the realm of $900 or best offer. eBay. Another listing shows a rare 1968 Lincoln cent penny era. Elvarian no mint mark offered near $1,849.99 for a red designation era example.eBay. That starts to hint at serious premium territory, but even those prices pale in comparison to what's whispered in numismatic circles. Because the real gold lies in verified, high-grade, fully authenticated versions, and those are almost never publicly recorded. Pause here. Ask yourself, could you have one of those ultra-rare examples already and never known it? The trick is, the exceptional ones are almost never in circulation. They're most likely preserved in old collections, stashed in envelopes, archives, or passed down among fellow collectors. The real treasure hunters find them in estate collections, coin dealer hoards, or hidden in decades-old accumulations. Let me share a story paraphrased from collector lore. A small coin shop in a Midwestern town bought an old lot of mixed U.S. change from a deceased estate. Among thousands of pennies, one collector noticed a 1968 with no mint mark that looked odd. The letters appeared, slightly doubled near the rim. He sent it to a third-party grading service. It came back as MS67 red, with a rare die crack adjacent to one. That single coin sold privately to a major collector for tens of thousands of dollars. We don't know the identity of that coin now because it vanished into deep collections. But rumors persist among elite numismatic circles. Suspense line? We're still months away from revealing the highest documented sale of a 1968 no-mint penny. But when I tell you that figure, you'll sit up straighter in your chair. Now let's examine what gives any 1968 no-mint mark penny its chance at extreme value. There are several criteria. Exceptional strike quality, because many 1968 cents suffer from weak strikes. A specimen that exhibits crisp, sharp detail in Lincoln's hair, cheek, collar, and the rims of letters is immediately elevated. It must stand out visually against the majority. Die error or variety examples include doubling. Repunched letters are P varieties. Rim anomalies, L on rim inscriptions. Die cracks or other anomalies seldom seen. One known coin listing is exactly L and letters on rim and more. On a 1968 no-mint coin.eBay, +1 red road. Color, full luster 1968 penny. That retains strong original red luster is extremely rare. Many lose color over time. If a no-mint mark coin remains red and lustrous, it may merit major attention from grading services. Perfect condition, Low post-mint defects even. A tiny scratch or mark can shutter its value. The truly valuable specimens will be ultra-clean, near flawless, and fully graded by a respected third party like PCG's or NGC TBU proven pedigree, authentication given. How easy counterfeits or altered mint mark fraud can be adding or removing DS marks. Collectors want full provenance, authentication, and grading. Without credentials, the value collapses. If you find a 1968 no-mint penny meeting all those criteria, you're in a rare league. But you'd better act fast. Once these anomalies enter serious collections, they rarely reappear. Now, you might be thinking, but is there any documented sale of a 1968 no-mint mark penny that justifies believing in six-figure or million-dollar valuations? That's the litmus test. As of today, I have found no public record of a verifiable, certified sale of a pure 1968 no-mint mark penny reaching seven figures. In fact, coin value reference sites generally rate even the finest 1968 no-mint mark specimens in the hundreds to low thousands range, far below the hype of millions. Coin value checker +2 Gainesville coins +2. But that's not the whole story, because many of the most prized coins don't trade publicly. They change hands in private auctions or between elite collectors with confidentiality, which means the highest sale can remain secret, fueling speculation. On the flip side, we do have benchmarks in the broader 1968 series that show collectors are willing to pay steep premiums for rarity. For instance, a 1968S proof Lincoln Cent PR67 sold via heritage auctions for $14,375, PCGS.com. Some of the rare error varieties in 1968, especially die doubles or off-metal planchette errors, have fetched into the thousands. Bullion Shark +1, a regular 1968 no-mint penny, when perfectly graded as MS67 Road, might show up in guides as being valued around $225 or more. Coin value curves. Figures prove this. Collectors will pay handsomely for extreme quality and rare variety. The gulf between cheap hundreds and secret tens or hundreds of thousands is built on scarcity, pedigree, and storytelling. Which brings me back to you, the viewer. If you hold a 1968 no-mint mark penny, that seems too good to crisp, too red, too intact, or weird in lettering or rims. Don't dismiss it, because you might hold a secret. The trick is validating it. Submit it to a top grading service, PCG with full documentation. Request die photography, and compare with known die variety databases. Inquire among serious Lincoln Cent collectors and specialist forums. Never mention potential valuation publicly until it's authenticated. Word can leak and complicate private offers. And yes, I promise to come to the biggest reveal. We're now into the final act, and here is what I can conclusively say. So far, there is no documented, certified public sale of a 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that has reached multi-hundreds thousand or million-dollar valuation. The most public highest values for 1968 coins involve proofs, era coins, or varieties from the S, mint, or mint errors. As mentioned, a 1968S proof PR67 sold for $14,375 via heritage.pcgs.com. That is among the highest reliably documented sales in the 1968 Lincoln Cent series. Yet the legend persists that some 1968 no-mint pennies, privately held, might command six-figure or even million-dollar offers behind closed doors. The speculative whispers persist because the number of authentic, top-grade anomaly specimens is almost zero in public. The private sale world hides many transactions from wide public record. The psychology of numismatics allows legends to grow faster than documents can catch up, so the closest thing we have to confirmed extreme value is in error varieties, proofs, and privately sold rarities, not the basic no-mint version, though that doesn't stop believers. You may already own the most mysterious penny in American numismatics. Maybe it's hiding in your change jar, tucked into an old coin roll, or stuck in a faded envelope in the back of your safety deposit box. It's a 1973 Lincoln penny, but not just any 1973 penny. The one you want to discover carries a D-mint mark and whispers of hidden value that could change your life. Picture this. You dump a shoebox full of old coins, thinking nothing of them. You sort through tired wheat cents, older memorial pennies, a few modern ones. Then, as you shine a light across the pile, one glints just a little differently. Under the date, a tiny D stares back. Could that unassuming coin be worth more than your car? You're about to hear the story of the 1973 Lincoln penny, its secrets, its surprising auction history. Stories of collectors who thought they'd never find this coin, and how one small detail might make all the difference. The year 1973 was an unremarkable one for pennies. The Denver Mint struck 3,549,576,588 of them. Coin value cacker plus 2 pcgs.com plus 2, that's billions. Most circulated got dinged and worn. And everyone assumed 1973 D pennies were essentially common. PCGS.com plus 2 coin value checker plus 2. But what collectors quietly discovered is that among those billions, only a handful survive in pristine condition, and even fewer with striking anomalies that catch the eye of experts. Classic coin guides list a standard circulated 1973 D penny as worth only 1 cent. Coin-identifier.com plus 2 coin value checker plus 2. Some uncirculated ones can fetch tens of dollars depending on grade. Coin value checker plus 2 pcgs.com plus 2, but the true gold lies in subtle mint errors, perfect red coloration, and ultra-high grades. On February 27, 2014, Heritage Auctions recorded a 1973 D penny-graded Ms. 67 that sold for $4,994. Coin value checker. That may not be millions yet, but it shows that even among billions, Coins that survive with that level of perfection are rare. Think mere handfuls of specimens may exist in MS-67 condition or better. Still, $5,000 is nowhere near life-changing to most people until you find your own. Now, here's where the mystery deepens. Collectors have begun reporting error varieties among 1973D pennies that push value far higher than standard listings. One listing on eBay offers a 1973D Lincoln Memorial penny era missing L in Liberty, an extreme rarity at nearly $500. eBay. Another seller lists a 1973D with hard-cast strike in high condition around $400. eBay's $400 and $500 are far from millions, but they hint at something deeper. They tell us that the market will reward uniqueness, and that the everyday catalogs vastly understate what a rare variant might command when serious collectors get interested. Imagine if a single small flaw or a minting quirk pushed a coin's value into the 6 or even 7-figure range. What if that coin is sitting underappreciated among your change? Let's walk through what makes some 1973D pennies so elusive. First, strike quality. During 1973, the Denver Mint presses were working hard. Many coins were struck under suboptimal conditions, causing weak detail, especially on Lincoln's hair, coat folds, or around the mint mark. Coin value checker +1 coins with full sharp detail are much rarer. Second, color and toning. Copper coins oxidize. Collectors prize the reddest specimens road, those retaining almost full original copper luster. Red-brown RB coins are more common. Brown BN is least desirable. Even among high-grade pennies, those surviving in deep red condition are exceedingly few. Sell rare coins +3 coin value checker +3 PCGs.com +3 third. Mint errors and variety anomalies. Some 1973D pennies show repunched mint marks RPMs, or slight doubling in letters double die effect, or die cracks, or incomplete strikes. These variety coins are highly sought after by the specialist market. Coin value checker +2 coin-identifier.com +2 fourth. Certification and population. A coin graded by PCGS-NGC or ANACS, especially in a high grade, becomes a trusted asset. Pennies exist in MS-67 or above that are certified. That scarcity means collectors may pay a premium. PCGS.com +1. Now imagine this scenario. A family finds an envelope full of old pennies in their grandmother's attic. They assume nothing is special until they spot a coin whose color glows oddly red, whose details still gleam under magnification, whose mint mark shows signs of an extra ghost image. They send it to PCGs for grading. Weeks later, it returns as MS-68 Road, one of only perhaps 2 or 3 known. It's consigned to a major auction. Suddenly, buyers compete fiercely, and the final bid, $300,000. That seems extreme, and for now, speculative. But in the world of rare modern sense, extreme jumps aren't impossible. Once, a 1974D aluminum Lincoln sent a pattern knot. Released to the public was certified MS63 and rumored to fetch between $500,000 and $2 million, though legal and governmental disputes soon swallowed much of that story. Wikipedia could the 1973D ever reach that stratosphere? Not without conditions. You would need an exceptional specimen. Perfect strike, full red color, minimal marks, and ideally a desirable error variety that distinguishes it from every other example. At this point, you might ask, how many such coins might exist today? The short answer may be just a handful. The catalogs may list dozens of MS65 or MS66 1973D pennies. But anything beyond that, especially with perfect red surfaces or error characteristics, is extraordinarily rare. Many of the coins struck in 1973 wore out quickly, melted down, or circulated. The survivors in top form are vanishingly few. But let me tell you one more collector, okay? Story, a whispered one in numismatic forums. A collector in Texas once posted that he found in a mixed roll from the bank in the 1980s a 1973D that appeared unnaturally sharp, unusually red. He ignored it, then later liquidated his collection and forgot about many items. Years later, someone purchased his lot and sent the pennies to grading. That 1973D came back as MS67. Read and sold privately for $25,000. I can't independently verify it. The collector never publicized the transaction. But stories like this circulate because they're plausible. So here's why you should care. If you own 1973D pennies, especially uncirculated ones, or ones with strange appearance, your coin roll jars might hide something vastly more valuable than face value. Every once in a while, someone unearths a sleeping beauty that shocks the market. Pause with me for a moment. Are you touching that one 1973D now, wondering if it's the one? That's the moment collectors live for. Let's run a little checklist. Is the surface red, not brown or flat? Are details sharp? Lincoln's cheekbones, his coat lapels, the memorial columns? Is the D mint mark bold and clear? Are there anomalies, traces of another D, faint doubling, slight off-center strike, cracks, die breaks? Has it been slabbed by PCGS-NGC or ANACS with a high grade? If you answer yes to several, you might be holding something rare. Don't rush to sell locally. Get opinions from top-tier dealers and multiple grading houses. Every extra flicker of credibility can mean thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. And here's the twist. The most dramatic revelation is coming up right now, because while the highest documented public auction sale for a 1973D is just under $5,000, the 2014 MS67, the true ceiling remains unknown. Many deals happen privately or under confidentiality. Some whispers among elite collectors suggest that AMS68, Red 1973D, or a perfect error variety could command $100,000 to $500,000 or more. If it ever hits the open market under the right conditions, get again. That's speculative. But let's consider what must align for that to happen. Ultra-rare condition MS68 or exceptional MS67 full red color. Flawless surfaces, a standout variety or error that separates it from all others. Grading provenance, top-tier grading house. Strong photo documentation, a motivated buyer at a major auction. If all that aligns, the result could be jaw-dropping. We've seen rarities from other coin lines fetch eye-popping prices often, because supply is so restricted and demand among serious collectors is high. A once-soon-noticed coin transforms into a headline piece virtually overnight. Your mission. Should you choose to accept it, sift through your 1973 Ds. Examine them under LED light. Magnify them. Compare with reference photos. If you find one with potential, send it to 2 grading houses. Ask well-known dealers if they'll examine photographs. Share on collector forums. Build excitement. You might be holding a sleeping giant. Let's end with the hard fact. The most credible public sale record for a 1973 D Lincoln penny remains approximately $4,994 for an MS67 example. Coin value checker? That's real. But that figure is not a cap. It's a floor for what forcing the right, rare variant through the market might achieve. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and treat every penny like a potential secret. So stay with me, because if you've ever held a 1978 penny, you'll want to re-examine it under a magnifying glass tonight. Let's begin with the basics, the seemingly mundane facts that lull most people into dismissing this coin. In 1978, the U.S. Mint struck 5,558,605,000 Lincoln cents, a staggering number. Answer, +2, Wikipedia, +2. The vast majority of those coins were minted at Philadelphia, which does not use a mint mark, with additional production in Denver and San Francisco. Wikipedia plus to sell rare coins plus to thus. A no-mint mark 1978 penny is, in theory, just a Philadelphia strike and in circulated condition. Most numismatic guides peg them at face value 1 cent or perhaps a few cents more if in pristine condition. Just answer, +3 sell rare coins, +3 coin-identifier.com, +3 but. And here's the twist among those billions. A tiny handful carry anomalies, mistrikes, or conditions so exceptional that they break all expectations. And it is precisely in those anomalies that whispers of million-dollar valuations begin. Imagine this. A collector opens a battered tin in Grandpa's basement, inside a handful of 1978 pennies. One glints in the light in a way that doesn't match the others. Under a loupe, the strike is razor-sharp, color vivid, perhaps with a die doubling or misalignment that the other pennies simply don't have. That's the spark. And that's where legends begin. To understand how such a coin might exist, we must peer into the minting process. Coins are struck using hardened steel dies, which over time degrade, shift, or are even cracked. Occasionally, during hubbing, the process of creating dies. Flaws occur: hub doubling, misaligned hubs, shifted dies, or weak strikes. Most such errors are caught, destroyed, or remain inconsequential. But in rare instances, a flawed die can produce just a handful of coins with anomalies that slip into circulation or remain unsampled. Those are the seeds of legend in the coin world. And now, I want you to picture this. What if among those 5.5 billion pennies from 1978, 1 or 2 or 3 was struck from a slightly misaligned hub, or with a small die shift, or perhaps a subtle doubling, creating a variety unknown or undocumented? Such a coin, indistinguishable to most, becomes a numismatic unicorn. Let's pause. Here's a question. Have you ever set aside a seemingly worthless penny because it looked different? Did you ever think to call a coin dealer or drop it by a grading company? Because if you did, you might already hold something extraordinary now. Before we go further, we must separate fact from fiction. In established numismatic records, the highest auction sale for a 1978 Lincoln cent in the common type, not counting proof sets or obvious error varieties, is $4,259.38 for an MS67 Plus. Red specimen sold via heritage auctions under PCGs on September 4, 2014. PCG, that's over $4,000, a far cry from 1 cent. But note, that's a specimen in virtually perfect condition, nearly flawless, and submitted to a competitive auction environment. No mint error, no exotic variant attached, just perfect strike, perfect surfaces, and perfect eye appeal. That's the real-world record in the normal 1978 series. PCGs, could there be an error or variant, known or unknown, that eclipses that by orders of magnitude? In principle, yes. Among advanced collectors and error specialists, it's not unheard of to hear rumors. There are 2 known of this weird hub double in 1978. A collector once was offered 6 figures for his. One appears in a private collection and refuses to be sold. These stories circulate at coin shows late at night, whispered in corners. And that's precisely what gives this coin its mystique. Let's delve deeper into an actual example. Take the known 1978 MS67 red coin. I just mentioned, it's cataloged as a registry-grade example with exceptional luster, a perfect strike, and no spotting. Heritage auctions in that same auction listing. The description notes that only one finer MS68 red exists among all certified examples. Heritage auctions that shows you how razor-thin the top percentile is. Imagine if even one coin had a slight doubling or micro-die crack, unnoticed, that might push its rarity above and beyond. That's what collectors dream of. Now. Okay? Let me share a short tale from the collecting underground. A man inherited a coin album from his father, scanned it at a local coin shop, and casually tossed the 1978 no-mint mark penny back into the pile. The dealer paused, magnified it under the light, and asked, "Do you know this is a die shift?" The owner's heart raced. It turned out the shift moved the 1 cent inscription just 1 millimeter. The dealer offered to buy it for $5,000 on the spot. The owner declined. To this day, that coin is ungraded, but the rumor lingers. Such stories abound in coin forums. Late-night auctions and secretive backrooms at major coin conventions. Collectors speak of ghost coins that exist but never visit the block. If you hold a 1978 penny that looks slightly off, you owe it to history to have it inspected. There is literally no downside, and the upside could be life-altering. Let me inject another suspenseful thought. What if a 1978 no-mint mark with a previously undocumented error or variety sold next week at auction for 6 figures? Would the numismatic world reevaluate every 1978 cent in circulation overnight? I strongly believe yes, but we must be grounded in evidence. Let us revisit the numbers. Common circulated coins trade for a few cents. Uncirculated in MS 6064, maybe 10 cents to 50 cents. And higher uncirculated examples, MS 65 to 66, might fetch a few dollars. Heritage auctions plus 3 coin value checker plus 3 coin-identifier.com plus 3. Only the top exceptional coins break into the thousands. The leap from thousands to millions requires something vividly extraordinary: physical error. Rarity, or provenance. Now, what about proof or specimen 1978 struck cards or special sets? There is a known auction record for a 1978's proof PR70 Deep Cameo, sold at Heritage for $4,313. PCGS, that's stunning for a proof cent. But again, that is certified, cataloged, and well known. Our myth is about the silent anomaly hiding in plain sight. The key to unlocking such a coin is first identifying a red flag, something that doesn't match the expected. Here are a few red flags collectors often use. Doubling. Look for faint doubling on letters Liberty, In God We Trust, the numerals of the date, or 1 cent. Die shift. Slight misalignment so the fields are off-center or inscriptions are shifted. Cracks or die fractures. Fine lines radiating from the rim or across the fields. Planchette flaws. Unexpected weakness. Clipped planchettes or lamination errors. Strike anomalies. Weak strike in expected zones or extra metal flow. If you see any of those, you should photograph under macro lighting, document angles. Then, and here's urgency, send it for grading and error review by trusted firms, PCG, NGC, ANACS. Don't delay. Most coins, seen only once, never reappear. Every 60 to 90 seconds. Take a breath, but also ask, might that penny from your childhood still hold a secret? Are you ignoring history in your pocket? Now, before we reach the climax, let me sketch a credible best-case scenario. Suppose a 1978 no-mint mark with a rare, undetected hub doubling or die shift is submitted to a prestigious auction house. Fully documented, verified by PCG's or NGC's Error Review Division. With credible provenance. In that world, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands or more, is not inconceivable. But wildly high million would require extraordinary attributes. Extremely low population, vivid, untouched surfaces, and a narrative so compelling it becomes legendary. One last twist. Coins may appear in private collections and never see the light. Occasionally, heirs consign with auction houses at the last minute, seeking quick sales. Many of these ghost coins are rumored to fetch 6 or even 7-figure offers but remain unpublished. When one does appear, the entire collector community springs into orbit. Reconstructing family trees, tracking heirs, and hunting other survivors. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for. The highest confirmed auction sale for a normal 1978 Lincoln cent is that $4,259.38. PCG's MS6, 7 Plus Red, PCG's that is the documented benchmark. Everything beyond that remains speculation, whispers, rumors, potential. But remember, even that number is nearly $5,000 for a penny 0 cent from the 1970s. So, what do you do if you suspect you have the one? Isolate it. Remove the coin from circulation immediately. Document it. Take high-resolution photos obverse, reverse edge under multiple lighting angles. Examine it. Use a 10 or 20 loop. Compare to known 1978 specimens. Ask experts. Post in specialized numismatic forums with credentials. Share images. Submit to grading error review. Send it to trusted labs like PCG's or NGC, choosing their error review pathway. Consider auction routes once certified. Contact top-tier auction houses with numismatic expertise. This is your one chance to turn something almost every American dismisses into something extraordinary. Let's circle back. Imagine you're rummaging through that old coffee can of change, and you pull out a 1978 penny. It looks dull, like 99.9% of all those coins. But then, the date digits stand crisp. The strike is razor sharp. The fields are mirror-like. And that's the coin we're hunting tonight, the 1998 Lincoln penny. 1 cent, with no mint mark. And I promise you, by the end of this video, your fingers will itch to dig through every jar, box, and pile of change you own, wondering, could I have it? Imagine this. An aging homeowner opens a decades-old Mothaton box in his basement. Among yellowing letters and faded holiday cards, he finds a small tobacco tin. Inside, a handful of 1990s pennies. One in the lot is a 1998 Lincoln cent. It looks ordinary, no mint mark. But something about the letters on the reverse catches his eye. The A&M in America are unusually close together or unusually wide. He Googles 1998 Lincoln close M and stumbles into the dark underworld of coin collectors whispering about a hidden error. A nearly lost variety, a coin that defies its face value. What follows is a journey through die varieties, grading wars, shocking auctions, and the possibility that your handful of pennies might hold a secret worth more than your car. Let's set the stage. In 1998, the U.S. Mint struck billions of Lincoln Memorial cents at the Philadelphia facility. Because Philadelphia's pennies traditionally carried no mint mark. The default 1998 pennies bear no letter under the date. Coin value checker, +1 on the face of it. This is completely ordinary, a birthday gift. A coin from the vending machine, nothing special. The basic no mint mark Philadelphia 1998 cent is common. Even in uncirculated form, though only in superb grades MS68+, does it begin to command a premium. Coin value checker +1, but here's where things get weird. Among these billions, a few coins bizarrely display anomalies in the spacing of the AM in America on the reverse. Collectors refer to varieties like close, AM, and wide AM. Some argue that certain 1998 pennies were struck with the wide M. Proof-style spacing, despite being business strike coins, or that transitional dies produced hybrid spacing. In other words, errors or die varieties slipped through quality control. The Sun +2 coin value checker +2 in the numismatic underground. There is debate. Are there genuine 1998 no mint mark wide M business strikes? Or are all those claims misattributions, counterfeits, or misreadings? Some listings on eBay show 1998 close AM no mint mark coins offered for hundreds of dollars. eBay +2, but to date, no credible coin in any official grading census is known to have sold for millions. No PCGs or NGC pop report shows a 1998 no-mint-mark penny in top grade reaching a multi-million result. So, is the legend a fantasy or a time bomb yet to explode? Here's what we do have on record. The highest official auction record for a 1998 Lincoln Cent is a PCGSMS 69RD that sold for $5,800 in November 2020. PCG, that's not pocket change, but it's not millions either in the wide M variety space. A 1998 wide AM, graded MS67, once sold for $940 in 2014 via Heritage. PCGs, but those are documented, relatively mainstream variants, not some undiscovered gem hidden in your change jar. So where does the myth of a $1 million 1998 no mint mark penny come from? It comes from whispers, wishful mislistings. Bold claims on social media misread eBay offers with asking prices in the thousands or tens of thousands. And a collector community's dream of a hidden jackpot still lurking. It also comes from watching rarer Lincoln cents like classic doubled dies. Missing mint marks and vintage types fetch astronomical sums. Enthusiasts often graft that energy onto the modern era, imagining that maybe we are on the brink of discovering something equally spectacular. Let's pause. Take a breath. You might say, wait, this video is promising a big secret. But all the evidence seems underwhelming so far. Fair point. Now we go deeper. We know a few interesting nuggets. Several eBay listings advertise 1998 no mint mark close AM coins for $500, $750 or more. eBay +2, one listing even shows 1998 penny no mint mark close AM Aaron centered at $500. eBay, but eBay listing prices are not sales, often overreaching, speculative, or unverified. Still, they show that many believe the market could bear high prices if demand erupts. Another clue in rare error coin circles. Misspacings in the AM region have turned ordinary pennies into sought-after oddities in other years, especially 1999. The sun +1 if collectors accepted that error. They may have turned the lens backward to 1998 to see if a parallel exists. Now, suppose for a moment that in some undisclosed collection, a perfect 63 Red Road 1998 no-mint mark coin was struck with a genuine wide AM or proof-style spacing. That would be effectively unique with no competition. At that point, in the right auction, if marketed properly, it could command 6 figures or more. But that remains speculative. In fact, even the top documented 1998 coin, the $5,800 MS69RD, pales beside that hypothetical dream coin. There's no published evidence that a 1998 no-mint mark penny ever breached $100,000, let alone $1 million. But legends begin at the edge of the possible. Let's imagine you do find this coin. You send it to PCGs or NGC for grading. They come back with an eye-popping result. MS67RD wide M, unique, not in any pop report. At auction, intrigue gathers. Collectors realize this could be the one. Bidding erupts. After heated competition, it sells for $250,000. A few years later, a second one is found. And in 2030, it smashes a record at $450,000. By 2040, the Holy Grail example commands $1.2 million at a top-tier auction house. That eventuality is the dream that fuels the myth. But let's bring ourselves back down to earth and reinforce what is real. What can be done and why you should care. First, realize that only a handful of collectors are actively searching this 1998 no-mint mark anomaly. It's obscure. Many collectors don't even check their 1998's 4 AM spacing. They toss them in tubes, consign them in bulk. That means there's room for surprise. Second, errors like spacing anomalies are subtle. They often require magnification, comparison, and variety books to spot. If you're casually browsing coins, you likely won't notice it. That's how potential gold hides in plain sight. Third, rarity and demand drive value far more than intrinsic metal or face value. A modern coin with a rare die error, in top grade, in a compelling pedigree, can break boundaries. Even if no such 1998 has been proven yet, it's not impossible. Fourth, the collector community's energy can shift overnight. If one truly spectacular 1998 no-mint mark penny hits the market with grand presentation, headlines, and recorded price that could retroactively validate dozens of speculative listings and drive demand, suddenly, what was once dismissed as niche could become mainstream obsession. Another story. A collector in Ohio once opened an old box from his father's attic, expecting nothing more than weathered pocket change. Among a jumble, He found a 1998 penny that looked sharper than most. He hadn't noticed anything unusual at first, but he submitted it to grading just as a long shot. To his shock, the lab returned MS66 red. Possible wide dam attributes. It doesn't command millions yet, but it's become a prized piece in his collection. Often photographed, often shown to visiting collectors. He tells guests, "You never know what's in your past." Could your dusty coin album be hiding something like that? We're now in the home stretch, the payoff you've been waiting for. What is the highest verifiable value for any 1998 Lincoln cent? No mint mark or otherwise. That is the moment we separate fantasy from fact. The record stands $5,800 for a 1998 MS69 RD specimen, not necessarily no mint mark. PCGs, that is the highest published auction result in the PCG's database for a 1998 Lincoln sent in modern grading. There is no documented multi-million sale for any variant of 1998. So when you hear claims like this 1998 no mint mark penny is worth $2 million, view them with skepticism. Some are speculative hype, some are misreading of listings, some may be false or fraudulent. But recognize something. Those claims persist because collectors still hunger for the possibility. And the possibility is precisely what drives this story. If tomorrow someone presents a flawless MS67 RD 1998 no mint mark penny with undeniable proof of error, and it sells for $250,000, $500,000 or more, that will rewrite the myth into legend. But until that moment, the coin remains an intriguing enigma. So here's what you should do. Gather all your 1998 Lincoln pennies, especially those no mint mark, i.e. Philadelphia strikes. Examine the reverse under magnification, especially the spacing between the letters A and M in America. Compare to reference photos of close AM and wide M varieties. If one looks unusually spaced, submit it to a reputable grading company, PCGs or NGC, and ask specifically for die variety attribution. Do not expect instant millions. But even a mid-grade rare variety may yield surprising value someday. Track population reports, pop reports, and auction houses for any new high results. This is a frontier field. Still developing, you may never stumble upon the $1 million coin, but the journey is real. Even if you find a coin that brings $500, $1,000, or $5,000, that's more than anyone anticipated when those pennies were first made. Keep your eyes sharp, your mind open, and never underestimate what lurks in your change. The legend of the 1998 no min mark Lincoln penny is not settled. It's waiting for its moment to shine. Until next time, keep searching and keep collecting.